Adam Savage. Welcome to Tarot Time. It's been quite a while, has it not, since we've parted the veils of time. Well, today is a very special episode of Tarot Time. I have three big announcements. One, I'm going to be telling you about the coronavirus, its trajectory for the rest of 2021 in more intimate detail. Two, I'm going to answer a ton of questions that you guys, that's right, you, asked me in the comments from previous tarot videos. And if you have any more comments or questions about the world as it is, feel free to leave a comment and maybe your question will be delightfully answered in my future videos. And then finally, a lot of you have asked me about whether I'm going to be doing personal tarot readings. The answer is apparently now yes, so be sure and look in the information for this video. I will post the details of how you can get your problem or issue addressed or question answered. So just feel free to click one of those links and I will take it. I hesitated to do this because one, it's a big time commitment, but I realize also that a lot of people do have pressing issues and questions, and I like to mentor people and help people. So if I may do that, I'd be glad to help you with your issue. Also be sure and subscribe and like. I really appreciate that and it helps so much. Before we go into the actual readings, I just want to mention these books that had a huge influence on me. When I was about 14, I read them both. The Zap Gun by Philip K. Dick and Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. Two science fiction novels. Dick's book, I haven't read it since I was 14, but I remember it as there was like a cartoonist or a comic artist that was creating scenarios that would actually affect the real world. So this artist that worked in this kind of trash medium was able to influence the world. And in Stranger in a Strange Land, it's been a long time since I've read that too, but like there was a psychic in there that would, I think it was the wife of the president or something of the United States would contact this psychic. And I want to say that something like that kind of happened in real life, like Nancy Reagan consulted a psychic. I feel like I heard that. So the point is though, I feel like I've kind of become both characters in that my videos are having a strange effect on the world. Or maybe I'm just imagining things. If the tarot is just a map of the universe, I consider myself just an interpreter of the map, a legend if you will. Alright, it's time to start tackling the questions that you all asked in the comments, which are some great questions. So the first question that I'm going to answer, one of you asked about aliens, whether they will ever arrive on Earth. I decided to limit myself just to 2021 because I feel like that might be an issue for a larger video unto itself. But just for 2021, I did that reading and I got the Four of Swords came up, which I would say is a pretty clear negative that aliens will not be arriving in 2021. Next, one of you asked about Scottish independence, and I decided to limit myself to 2021 and 2022. The card that came up was the Lovers. Even though this card is called the Lovers, I usually think of it as being kind of an uneasy agreement or alliance. This does not feel like the energy I would expect from Scottish independence. My take on this is that no, this will not be happening in 21 or 22. Beyond that, maybe you should subscribe to find out more. One of you asked me who would become president in 2024. For example, would Biden get a second term? Would Trump come back into politics again and win that election? So I did a reading on just Biden and Trump. There could be other participants, obviously, that I'm not even aware of at this point. The thing about the tarot is it can only answer the questions that you put to it, obviously. But it can provide hints of other things. Anyways, I just limited it to Biden and Trump. For Biden, I got the King of Pentacles, and Trump, I got the Ten of Swords. This is possibly a victory on Biden's part, but it's not. If anyone more dynamic comes along, I'm not sure about this. This is a very muted card. And for Trump, I would say no, this does not look like he will be winning that election if he'll even be participating. This is like the complete failure of any strategy. One of you asked, would Biden be healthy for 4 years and complete his 4 years of service at least? For that, the card that came up was the Knight of Pentacles. For those of you who watched my previous tarot readings, you may recall that was the health forecast for Biden for the rest of 2020. So I see this as a continuation of the previous status. So basically, yeah, I would say he completes his 4 years. Some of you asked whether there might be a housing market crash. So I looked at the housing market for 21 and 22, and the card that came up was King of Pentacles, and this is for me not a sign of a crash. The King of Pentacles is a very stable situation, and because Pentacles and Disc deal with the nuts and bolts of the world, it just feels very stable, and I don't see a big change. This is a very non-dynamic card. Someone asked whether in our near future we might have the possibility of a cashless society. Is that a possible, or is that just something out of science fiction? The card that came up was the Ten of Pentacles. My take on this is a little tricky for me to read, I admit. This is not one of the clear readings in this group, but I would say that this means no, that this is not in our future, immediate future, by 2025 or so, because this is my mind, not the tarot, but I just feel like there's just so many different systems. I don't see it just evaporating overnight that quickly. But I also feel like there's something going on with money in the next few years that is going to change a lot of how we think about money entirely. Some of the viewers in America have asked whether there's going to be any more stimulus payments for 2021 or any near future prospect of stimulus. So I limited it to 2021, and the card that came up was the King of Cups. I'm going to take this as no, this is not likely to happen in 2021 anymore. This is, I think there's going to be a great deal of desire on people's part for more stimulus, obviously, but I just do not see it happening. All right, finally, we're getting to the coronavirus. What is it going to look like for the rest of 2021? We have a more detailed look now. My prediction last year has been pretty accurate in that by spring we by no means have defeated the coronavirus. It's still with us, and there are new mutations, new variants that are threatening to have spikes again. So what's going to happen by the end of 2021? So I asked two questions. The first was, how would the rate of coronavirus around the globe at the end of 2021, how would it compare to our current levels? Would they have gone down or up overall? So what came up was the Two of Cups, and this is not the most delightful of cards by any means. I would say this is not a clear victory at this point, and it looks like my reading of this is that we're still dealing with it, but it's very similar levels to right now, which is not the greatest news. I also asked about vaccines. A lot of you have asked whether you should even bother to get one. I wanted to see the overall cost versus benefits for the vaccines. Is it worth your time to get one? And what came up was the Five of Swords. To me, this is the card that, there's bad strategies and there's good strategies, and somewhere along this continuum, there's this point where a bad strategy started to become good strategy. So to me, this seems slightly in favor of vaccines. If you have any health issues, I would say that yes, it does make sense to get a vaccine. Even if you don't have any health issues, if you're able to get one, I would say that for the most part, it is worth your time. But I'm not a doctor. I just know that a lot of you have fears, but as near as I can tell, they are overall safe. I am not a doctor, obviously, and this is new technology, obviously, but I would say that whether the cost affects, if you're afraid of the coronavirus, if you feel like your health, you're at the age level, or you have some kind of long-term chronic illness that might be dangerous if you get the coronavirus, then I would say the benefits of the vaccine outweigh any costs. So again, I'm not a doctor, let me just say that. But you wanted the reading, so I gave it to you. Finally, I did a reading to give every viewer of this video. The card that came up was the Queen of Cups, who is a very energetic person, but I also see her as kind of waiting to unleash her emotional energy. So whatever emotions you have swirling within you, consider how you might bring them into the world. That's it for now. See you in the next tarot time when I'll do stuff. Or I'll see you at a personal reading down below. Did I get to your question? If not, be sure and comment below, and maybe I will answer it in a future tarot video. Also, be sure that you like and subscribe. In future videos, I'm going to address things like police violence and gun violence, big issues in the United States and elsewhere, but especially in the United States. So be sure you're subscribed. And don't forget to look in the info below if you would like a personal reading from me. Bye.